All right, so I am trying something new here for these videos that I didn't have done earlier. I'm gonna see if I can use my camera and do these videos this way. So this is book 12, Sea Perils and Defeat. The ship sailed on out of the ocean stream, riding a long swell on the open sea for the island of Aia. Summering dawn has dancing grounds there, and the sun is rising. But still by night we beached on a sand shelf and waded in beyond the line of breakers to fall asleep, awaiting the day star. So here we have summering dawn and the sun, and this could be an example of personification, or this could simply be how the Greeks had seen dawn as a goddess and the sun as a god. And so this is where Odysseus and his men are. When the young dawn, with fingertips of rose, made heaven bright, I sent shipmates to bring Elpenor's body from the house of Circe. We others cut down timber on the foreland on a high point and built his pyre of logs, then stood by weeping, while the flame burnt through course and equipment. So remember, Elpenor fell off the roof at Circe's house, and he had asked them to give him a decent burial, and so that's what they're doing. You get a little bit of their culture here, how they typically would have a funeral. Then we heaped his barrow, lifting a gravestone on the mound, and fixed his light but unwarped ore against the sky. These were our rites in memory of him. Soon then, knowing us back from the dark land, Circe came, freshly adorned for us with handmaids bearing loaves, roast meats, and ruby-colored wine. So they buried him after they had burned him, and then instead of a gravestone, they put an oar there. And now Circe comes along with some food. She stood among us in immortal beauty, jesting. Hearts of oak, did you go down alive into the homes of death? One visit finishes all men but yourselves, twice mortal. Come, here is meat and wine. Enjoy your feasting for one whole day, and in the dawn tomorrow you shall put out to sea. Sailing directions, landmarks, perils I shall sketch for you to keep you from being caught by land or water in some black sack of trouble. So in this first part here, it sounds like she's almost admiring of them that they survived. And then in the second part, she's telling them that she's going to provide them with some much needed information. In high humor and ready for carousel, we agreed. So all that day until the sun went down, we feasted on roast meat and good red wine. Till after sunset, at the fall of night, the men dropped off to sleep by the stern hawsers. She took my hand then, silent in that hush, drew me apart, made me sit down, and lay beside me, softly questioning as I told all I had seen, from first to last. Then, said the lady Circe, so, all those trials are over. Listen with care to this now, and a god will arm your mind. Square in your ship's path are sirens, crying, beauty to bewitch men coasting by. Woe to the innocent who hears that sound. He will not, his lady nor his children, enjoy crowding about him home from sea. Did I read that right? He will not see his lady nor his children enjoy, crowding about him home from sea. The sirens will sing his mind away on their sweet meadow lolling. There are bones of dead men rotting in a pile beside them, and flayed skins shrivel around the spot. Okay, so Circe is giving warning here about the sirens, who are beautiful, at least it seems, and sing beautifully and lure the men in, and then they end up dying. You have so many references to these sirens in modern literature, culture, all kinds of things. If someone hears the siren song, it means they're being led astray. So, what is said is stay clear of these. Steer wide, keep well to seaward, plug your oarsmen's ears with beeswax, kneaded soft. None of the rest should hear that song. Okay, so they're going to take beeswax and plug all the sailors' ears, but Circe has an idea for Odysseus. But if you wish to listen, let the men tie you in the lugger, hand and foot, back to the mast, lashed to the mast, so you may hear those harpies' thrilling voices. Shout as you will, begging to be untied. Your crew must only twist more line around you and keep their stroke up till the singers fade. What then? One of two courses you may take, and you yourself must weigh them. I shall not plan the whole action for you now, but only tell you of both. Okay, so once they're past the sirens, then there's going to be two possibilities. Circe is not going to tell Odysseus which one he should take. She's going to leave that for him to choose. Ahead are beetling rocks and dark blue glancing amphitrite, surging roars around them. Prowling rocks or drifters, the gods in bliss have named them well. Not even birds can pass them by, not even the timorous doves that bear ambrosia to Father Zeus. Caught by downdrafts, they die on rock wall smooth as ice. Each time the father wafts a new courier to make up his crew. So you've got the drifters on this one side. And there are these rocks, and Amphitrite is one of the wives of Poseidon. So very dangerous here. Still less ships get sea room of these drifters, whose boiling surf under high fiery winds carries tossing wreckage of ships and men. Only one ocean-going craft, the far-famed Argo, made it, sailing from Aeeta. But she too would have crashed on the big rocks if Hera had not pulled her through for love of Aeson, her captain, Jason. You may have heard of the story of Jason and the Golden Fleece. And that is what this is referring to, and Hera helped him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have gone through. I need to take a quick pause here. All right, I'm back again. A second course lies between headlands. One is a sharp mountain piercing the sky, with storm cloud round the peak, dissolving never. Not in the brightest summer to show heaven's azure there, nor in the fall. No mortal man could scale it, nor so much as land there, not with 20 hand and feet, so sheer the cliffs are, as of polished stone. Okay. Midway that height, a cavern full of mist opens toward Erebus and evening. Okay, so she's explaining this other part here, and you have this sharp, sharp cliff going upward. And around the top of this cliff, there's this storm cloud that never goes away. And you can't climb up this cliff. It's way too steep. And it's like polished stone. And then you've got this cavern that opens up. And Erebus is darkness. So it opens toward darkness. And skirting in this, the lugger, great Odysseus, your master bowman, shooting from the deck, would come short of the cave mouth with his shaft. Okay, so he's saying, Odysseus, even though you are the best archer, if you're shooting from the deck of your ship, you would not be able to shoot an arrow to that cave mouth. All right, what's in the cave? But that is the den of Scylla, where she yaps abominably, a newborn whelp's cry, though she is huge and monstrous. God or man, no one could look on her in joy. Her legs, and there are 12, are like great tentacles, unjointed. And upon her serpent necks are borne 6 heads, like nightmares of ferocity, with triple serried rows of fangs and deep gullets of black death. Okay, so this Scylla monster, she's barking, and she has 12 legs, kind of like an octopus, and she has 6 heads, and all of these 6 heads have these huge rows of fang teeth, kind of like a shark, and a really big scary mouth. Half her length she sways her heads in air outside her horrid cleft, hunting the sea around that promontory for dolphins, dogfish, or what bigger game thundering Amphitrite feeds in thousands. And no ship's company can claim to have passed her without loss and grief. She takes from every ship 1 man for every gullet. Okay, so here's the deal with Scylla. She will always take 6 men because she has these 6 heads with the 6 monstrous mouths on. And so the question is Odysseus going to make it through this? It kind of builds suspense. However, Circe is not done describing the dangers here yet, because she's saying that there's this narrow strait, and on one side is this monster Scylla, and on the other side is another monster, Charybdis. Charybdis is this giant whirlpool. So if you go on the Scylla side, you're going to lose 6 men. If you go on the Charybdis side, you're going to be sucked down and pretty much lose everyone. So if you were Odysseus, what choice would you make? Go closer to Scylla, lose 6 men, or risk losing everybody? So we're continuing on here. The opposite point seems more a tongue of land you'd touch with a good bow shot at the Narrows. A great wild fig, a shaggy mass of leaves, grows on it, and Charybdis lurks below to swallow down the dark sea tide. 3 times, from dawn to dusk, she spews it up and sucks it down again 3 times. A whirling maelstrom. If you come upon her, then the god who makes earth tremble could not save you. No, hug the cliff of Scylla. Take your ship through on a racing stroke. Better to mourn 6 men than lose them all, and the ship too. So her advice ran, but I faced her, saying, only instruct me, goddess, if you will, how, if possible, can I pass Charybdis or fight off Scylla when she raids my crew? Okay, so you do have sort of a little narrow spit of land here. And on that spit of land, you do have a fig tree. And that's going to be important as we continue on with the narration. Know that there's a little fig tree growing here. And you have Charybdis. And it's also important that she pulls down 3 times a day and spews up 3 times a day. All right? And so Odysseus turns to Circe and says, well, what do I do? You tell me which choice I should make. Swiftly that loveliest goddess answered me, must you have battle in your heart forever? The bloody toil of combat? Old contender, will you not yield to the immortal gods? That nightmare cannot die, being eternal evil itself, horror and pain and chaos. There is no fighting her. No power can fight her. All that avails is flight. Lose headway there along that rock face while you break out arms, and she'll swoop over you, I fear, once more, taking 1 man again for every gullet. No, no. Put all your backs into it. Row on. Invoke blind force that bore this scourge of men to keep her from a second strike against you. Okay, so she kind of says, go the Scylla way, but go fast so that she doesn't take 12 men. Then you will coast